say the pledge, remain standing for our prayer after Sedona.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the recent events of Youth and all those who plan them and work extremely hard for their success. Thank you for the Rotary Club, all the businesses involved, and for the prosperity and celebration of the whole village. We ask this month for the success of this coming weekend, safety of all the fun run participants, everybody in the village, in fact, over this Christmas season. For all emergency services, police, care facilities, to have a minimum of work, and all families to have a safe travel and peaceful, enjoyable times with their families. And also for any to know your comfort, Lord, in the loss of any family members throughout this past year. May this also be a time for families to be reconciled with each other, bring healing, physical, emotional, and restore any family relationships that have been broken. Bring long lost family members back together again. Right now, I'd like to pray for every member on the Blissfield Village Council. President Mike, all those who served this past year, cared and continue to care for all the rest of us in the village. May they be rewarded with great family Christmases. Finally, for your wisdom, direction, and all the business to be discussed tonight. Thank you. Trust you in your answers. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Amen. Wish you all a really productive, happy season, holidays, plenty of rest. Thank you for all that you do.
Merry Christmas. Thanks, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah.
All right, welcome everybody. Lisa, we'll start with the roll call.
Mike Gunner, Gwen Dusa,
Here.
Bill Gritzmaker,
Here.
Sherry Luce,
Here.
Ken Nichols,
Here.
Eric Rogers,
Here.
Timothy Waters,
Present.
Thank you. Moving on to minutes. Approval from November 24th, 3:30.
Move to approve the minutes of November 2020. Move to approve the minutes of November 24, 2025 as presented.
Support. Motion Bill, second Eric, to approve the minutes of November 24th, 2025 as presented. Any discussion? If not, Lisa, call roll.
Bill Gritzmaker,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Thanks.
Moving on, presentations, communications. We do have a little list here. Danielle is providing our schedule for all of the board meetings for 6. And discuss their district vote.
It is just for information, and as much as I'd like to take the credit, I do just want to let you guys know that Lisa from here was not myself.
I do have a comment if I may. I'm curious about the Parks and Rec 2026 meeting calendar, stating this, that it does have us down for the 7 p.m. time frame. I'm curious, depending upon our committee of the whole meeting, if that would be something that we could perhaps discuss. I know in the past it was kept at 7 o'clock due to Emilio's schedule, but I know that sometimes it can be beneficial to be at 6 o'clock as well. So I didn't know, Danielle, if we had to make that decision tonight for this, or if we were able to amend this as things progress after next week's committee of the whole meeting.
You could amend it at any point throughout the year, so we would publish as is right now because no official change has been made, and then if we make that, we can update it.
And just change it by that time.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
You just want to do that as a board right now. It doesn't really matter to us. I mean,
Correct, but I just, yes, it would be yes, an advisory board for Parks and Rec, but because as a council, we have to vote on the time frame. That's why I wanted to address it. But if we can amend that later, I'm very fine with that.
And you guys are not required to vote on these. We are required to share them for the year looking forward, which is what we're doing in the presentations. But we didn't make any changes to the times. If at any point the board or council wants to make a change, then we would just publish notice of that or
Okay.
the calendar thing. So there's no official motion required tonight.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
All right, thanks for that. Moving on. Approval of tonight's agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Or motion got second Tim to approve the agenda December 8, 2025 as presented. Any changes? At least call roll.
Gwen,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes. Carries. Moving on, public comment. Anybody from public wish to address council? No. All right, we'll move on. Unfinished business. Anybody have any?
I'm curious if, Eric had brought up a question last time, hoping that regarding the data collection of the I don't know,
The radar signs.
radar signs, if that had the opportunity to be, if it did, great, if not, okay.
That's on me.
Okay,
I actually,
I saw that face. and I
yeah,
thought,
I am so sorry. I made a note to myself to talk to chief and then I forgot to do that. So totally on me, not chief.
What is the question?
Wanting that on the speed
Oh,
sign.
You want to draw down?
Eric, had
Yeah,
brought
I
it up.
just,
Yeah.
it's been a little over a year now,
I'm so
from what I
sorry.
remember and what I was able
Yeah,
to determine. I know you keep data.
I periodically review it, download it, I haven't necessarily saved it, but it's just, what it does, is it'll give me 15-minute increments, of how many cars went through there, and what the high and low speeds were. Yeah. But I don't necessarily save it, I just kind of review it and see where we might be having those problems. And so
Yes,
it's probably 2.3 by the firehouse.
Right.
Probably one of our worst areas. Just because it's 30. But I can certainly start adding some data along to you, like, normally I haven't saved it. So I look at it. As soon as it's retrieved, it's scaled data.
Right. I just
If you
didn't
want
know,
it, I can certainly get it to you.
I know when we're looking at that system, when we first, before we got it.
Yeah.
You know, you were hoping to be able to obtain some of that data to maybe target certain areas. that
Okay, yeah, we do, and I do, yeah, we do those signs around that, but, yeah, I mean, I look at the data, once we, sign, download the data. Laptop. I can, if you want, I can sort of say.
I have to be every week or every.
Yeah.
I'll have to do it once a
I
quarter.
don't do it all the time, just periodically I'll download it and see what. You know, what we, a lot of times we'll look for is, you know, what's the highest speed we're recording, and when was that happening? And actually, there was one instance where we had, I believe, one vehicle that's going to be found at the same time every morning, doing close to 60 miles an hour. So it did help us, start losing some attention on that area.
Did you find it?
I'm not sure if they did or not. I mean, we won't know because the computer doesn't tell me you're looking for a blue Lexus
Right.
or anything.
So around that same time frame.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
As long as it wasn't at 7:45, you're good to go. That's all right, yeah.
Regarding the show.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot to talk.
Oh, that's all right. I was gonna ask that.
I'm glad you brought it up.
That's all right. That's all.
Anyone else? Was that Harvard before spring or?
Yes, I actually spoke with them last week and they were getting with their scheduling crew and going to be following up with me. They're expecting that it'll take 3 to 4 days, but I think they're doing it in any weather. So I will definitely let you guys know and let the staff know. There'll be some, we'll probably do a social media post too, because there'll be minimal impact, but still some impact.
Good. All right, let's move on. Pay some bills.
I move to approve accounts payable for the period of November 12th to December 9th, 2025, in the amount of $530,685.61.
Support.
Motion Eric, second Bill to Approve the accounts payable for the period of November 12th to December 9th, 2025, in the amount of $530,685.61. Questions, comments on the bills? Now, Lisa, call roll.
Sherry,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes, motion carries. And we have payroll.
Move council to approve the payroll register for November 2025 in the amount of $140,435.48.
Motion Tim, second Sherry, to approve the payroll register for November 2025 in the amount of $140,435.48. Questions or comments? Hearing none, Lisa, call roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes, motion carries. Moving on, you have a recommendation from police chief and administrator that we award Wagner. Correct?
So, Jacob Becker, last month, I wanted to recognize him as close as the anniversary as possible. We had a number of scheduling conflicts. He is off tonight, due to family obligations, I think, tonight, but next month, so I just think we're playing these things on the record, and I'll be presenting hopefully in these recommendations. Probably our civil service training. He doesn't like the public recognition, just like the guys. But Jake is he's an integral part of the department. I really could get what I get done without him. He's a great partner. He is not just an asset to Blissfield, but to the county. He's a driving instructor, he's a training instructor. Through our training source, he participates as one instructor. So he's not just a benefit to our officers, he's a benefit to technical officers. As a matter of fact, last week we went over to Rowe County and got certified as a taser instructor. So we now have our in-house taser instructor again, which is very nice. So he does a remarkable job. He takes care of a lot of the issues. He's our TAC officer. It's an actor. Don't get me started here on what it's called. He deals with the lead stuff, but he does a great job with all that stuff, and helps me monitor the reporting activity and reports we're taking at. Helps review those and assess them. Details necessary and send back to the officer. So he is a really just very well-rounded supervisor and fantastic officer. He's just one heck of a guy. But so I am asking that he get it be recognized with his service of work, 25 years of service, and was also asking council to personally recognize him with the Village Council Award for his dedication to service to the village. It is a big deal. 25 years is a long time. So, and I don't think we've had anyone 25 years since probably Sam or so it's been a while.
We only have two in the village currently.
What was it?
We have two in the village currently, but it is a pretty amazing, and we are grateful for your time.
As far as you know, his intentions are going. Don't fight him if he wants to.
Move that the Village of Blissfield Council recognize the 25 years of dedication, distinguished, continuing, and honorable service of Lieutenant Jacob Wagner to the Village of Blissfield and the Blissfield Police Department for confirming Blissfield Village Council Award. I support that.
Motion Tim, second Bill. That Blissfield Council recognized the 25 years of dedication, distinguished, continuous, and honorable service of Lieutenant Jacob Wagner to the Village of Blissfield and the Blissfield Police Department with the conferment of the Blissfield Village Council Award. Comments?
just again, what a big deal, and probably can't say too much.
I wanted to read into the record.
Yes.
Yes. The Distinguished Service Award, 5 life-saving awards, 5 advanced training awards, 4 length of service awards, and 2 safe driving awards. Very well done.
And it's just who he is to not be here tonight again. People don't understand how busy our police department is under the radar. You guys do a great job. So thanks, Lieutenant Wagner, for that, obviously. Anything further? Please call roll.
Sherry?
Yes.
Gwen?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Carries. Second, the recommended award.
Move that Lieutenant Jacob Wagner be awarded the Blissfield Police Department Length of Service Award for his 25 years of service to the Blissfield Police Department.
I'll support.
Motion Bell, second Sherry. Move that Lieutenant Jacob Wagner be awarded the Blissfield Police Department Length of Service Award for his 25 years of service to the Blissfield Police Department. Comments?
Congratulations once again.
Okay, please call roll.
Eric?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Gwen?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. Motion carries. Moving on. 2026 MDOT annual permit, just like every other year.
I would move to approve the MDOT annual permit resolution and authorize the village clerk to execute all related documents on behalf of the governing body and to apply to the Michigan Department of Transportation for the necessary permits to work within the state trunk line US 223 right of way for 2026.
I support that.
Motion Gwen, second Bill, to approve the MDOT annual permit resolution and authorize the village clerk to execute all related documents on behalf of the governing body and to apply to the Michigan Department of Transportation for the necessary permits to work within the state trunk line US 223 right away for 2026. Comments? Don, please call roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Gwen?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to 5, sidewalk replacement policy. Danielle.
I have a drafted sidewalk replacement policy that was recommended by our Michigan Municipal League Risk Assessment. That's not his official title, whatever his title is, but he every year comes and visits, they go through things and just make a couple different recommendations, but this was one of them, so I had worked on this with Brent. Because DPW goes through every year, we review our sidewalks, we tried to keep this in line with what we're doing now. So that it doesn't, we're not impacting the budget or trying to do something different than what we're doing, we're just trying to formalize it by putting it in writing. But if you guys have any specific questions about this policy, I do just want to make sure you guys know, I'm not saying we need to change this, but right now our ordinance does say that homeowners are responsible for clearing and replacing their sidewalks. That has not been the practice we've used, at least since I've been here. I don't know exactly how much longer, but or previous to my coming on board that has taken place. So if we continue this path, I am going to be working on updating the ordinance to get that in line with our current practice. Again, I'm not saying we should change it. I just wanted to notate that. I will take questions if you have any.
No, that's a good point, because again, we have been doing that. We've been doing the repair scene and et cetera, on the village. Village time, I guess. But, yeah, we need to change that ordinance to where it's, if it's damage that they cause or something, then it should be repaired by them. But if it's just regular wear and tear maintenance, et cetera, much like policy's been, can always change. But that's what everyone's been doing, streets, sidewalks.
Are you talking about sidewalks? One of their homes?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, like if they do construction or something and damage it, I don't know, it would be up to them, but normal wear and tear, they'll just stay in and take care of it.
I just wanted that clarified. And I will work on the ordinance. I was waiting just because I wanted to make sure this was gonna go through so I can use this as a guide for the ordinance rewrite.
Do you have any, I mean, I know what we ask this question often. Do you have any idea of when the last time this was updated?
But we currently have no written sidewalk policy, which when MML came through, when they talk to us about risk, they talk about kind of high volume things that they're seeing recently or trends, and sidewalks has been a big thing. And they're finding that communities who have written policies are better protected. We've only had our ordinance. I don't know when the ordinance was put in place, but like I said, ordinance does currently go against what our current operations or what we've been doing.
Once that was maybe 10 years. Where like that.
It does tell you, if you look at the ordinance, it gives you a date, but it doesn't tell you to what extent or what was changed. It could have been just a couple of things. I can tell you the last amendment, but I wouldn't know what that included. Let me get to the right section here.
That just reaffirms the need to take a look at policies and ordinances on a fairly regular basis to update them to current needs. And what we're doing now, because they change over time.
So the last recorded amendment to sidewalks was in 1991.
It's been a good while, because I remember I paid the assessment, and then it wasn't too much longer after that, the village made the change on
Franklin Street construction project.
it. It could have been.
I thought it was.
Yeah, it's still part of like a mass construction project, though, like assessment, I'm not sure. You know, we've changed that philosophy, so yeah, it's probably something to talk about. Because if you were to do a major street rebuild, years of that assessment falls back on the resident gutter sidewalk. So it's something we obviously haven't done since that project. Right? Yeah, more dialogue, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say with everything else, I think you're right with everything else going on with our updates, et cetera. Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, it's pretty crystal clear how much more in depth this has become a pain in the butt for DPW to follow these policies. You know, are they measuring 20% slope grade between a slab or two, or you know what I'm saying? It's enforceable for us.
I purposely try to put what we're already doing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be really honest with you, my first draft had some other things and Brent was like, you want us to do more, Danielle? So I removed that and again, I worked with him closely to make sure that we weren't trying to create more work or issues. But I'm comfortable with it. Brent's reviewed it. Again, our goal is to continue the practice we're already doing. Just we're putting it into a formal plan so that we're all on the same page. Or if any resident ever has a question like, how do you guys do this, or what are you looking at, we can give them this document.
We're Sue happy, so makes sense.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the village sidewalk replacement policy as presented.
Support. Motion Eric, second Tim, to approve the village sidewalk replacement policy as presented. Further discussion? Not Lisa, call the roll.
Bill,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Sherry.
Yeah.
Tim,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes, motion carries. Moving on to recommended personnel policy amendment. And yeah, two technically.
Yes, so this was on my to-do list. Most recently, one of our committee of the whole, it was brought up that this was a concern. So I tried to move, or I did move this up my to-do list, but these proposals both come from the police union agreement. regular personnel policy, so that it would apply to all of our other staff as well. And if you have questions, please let me know. I did share this with staff. Obviously, it would be an increased benefit to them, so I did not get any feedback.
I brought it up, obviously, and again, I was trying to stir the pot or anything, but again, it was addressed to me, so I figured I'd bring it up. Wholeheartedly agree on the call out thing. It just makes sense, gotta be fair across the board. My only question would be like the PTO bank, and I know this is a challenge because we don't want two tiers both of employees, but we had the police unionized for a reason. And do we get into this muddiness of the police union is technically representing the entire village staff? So again, it is a difficult challenge to try to weigh that and balance it out. My concern with the PTO bank is, number one, I don't want to have our employees burn out. We get PTO, we get pretty healthy benefits and a decent PTO as well as that sick leave. And I would really entice and recommend that our staff use that. Not only because people need vacation, they need time out, they need sick leave, et cetera, but also does that increase our legacy costs if somebody leaves later on at the end? You know, you can only pay somebody out for a specific amount. And that's why I think in the past, why we had that tiered system. Again, I would love to have all of our staff stick around for 20, 25 years, you know, retire. That's great. But again, I guess I was trying to balance the financial aspects of it. You know, what is the greater good? And I obviously want this sort of level playing field, but does behoove us a little bit to say everybody can pay up to 400, then we have to pay that out if they do.
You do have to pay it out if they leave, because our policy specifically says that an employee will be paid out for unused PTO when they leave the village of Blissfield. That would be any employee. Currently, regardless of why they leave the village as well, which was a lengthy discussion, but there is an added cost. I mean, you're going from 340 hours maximum to 400. I would agree with you that ideally, hopefully our employees are taking time off and they're taking vacations. Hopefully it's not for something crappy like a surgery or something not fun. They're doing fun things, but I mean, I don't know, one employee differs from another pretty drastically. I mean, we have employees that use their PTO and they're great about it, and we have others that are constantly maxed out. So, there's no rule to what the impact to the budget will be, because it's just going to vary person to person, but certainly is an increased cost.
That is sick leave right now.
Yes.
And that's a certain number of hours per week.
It's an hour for every 30 worked, and they can only use up to 72 hours of sick leave per year.
So if they need more than that 72, then they would start getting.
Correct. Yeah, PTO it's personal time. They can use it for whatever they choose. The sick is limited. It is limited to being sick or caring for a family member who is ill.
That's also a great point, because literally just as of January 1st, all of our staff got a quote extra week of sick leave where they wouldn't have to burn as PTO. So that was another quote benefit. Not that we really had a choice due to the state requirements or feds or whatever, but again, these things do affect, yes, costs. Just throwing that out there again. I'm a big believer in our staff, and you know, I mean, I was a company guy with family, et cetera, but you know, again, we got to do what's best fiscally for our
Well, and I think you're right, and that's what I guess I want to make sure I word this appropriately. Just concerned that it seems that we are maintaining our alignment between all employee agreements, contracts are aligning with the police contract, and I am concerned with that. I don't want. That's not, I think, what we were looking for is the police contract to be the contract for all employees, but that's the way that it's looking towards. I'm not necessarily a fan of that and how it would be perceived and how it's looking. That's my concern, as well as the financial opportunities as well. I don't have an answer, but that's just kind of where I'm rolling.
Their cap is 400 hours. If they don't use their hours that they're allowed each year, they can't, those don't get paid out, correct?
So the cap is 400, so our employees accumulate leave per pay period. And they accumulate that until they use it, or they hit their cap. So employees accumulate leave per pay period until they use it, and then they'll continue, or they hit their cap. So I'm gonna use myself as an example. I'm right now on the year 0 to 5, so my maximum cap is 220 hours. I am maxed right now, so currently in my leave bank, I have 220 hours of PTO. So next pay period, unless I take time off in this current one, I don't accrue any. So I will not accrue additional time until I use some of that. But I don't lose my 220 that is on the book now. So it'll stay on the books until I take a week off or whatever. Right, exactly.
You max out the 220.
Right, and I'm giving myself as an
Right,
example,
right.
but whatever, our employees are at different tiers or stages.
So
With the
it's-
exception of the police department, who's got the max of 400. And when I say police, chief is on hours too, so it would just be the union employees.
So it's per pay period and not seniority day.
We do pay out higher PTO for longer years of service. So it is stepped in the policy. And if you look at the policy that I attached in the council agenda, it says, so 0 to 5, you accrue the 6.9, and then 5 to 11, 6 to 11 years, you jump up, and then 12 to 15, and then 15 plus, or 12 to 14, and then after 15 years, you accrue 10 hours per pay period. So the longer you're here, you bump up in your accruals. And then we in turn jumped up our max because we're saying we're giving you a bump in accrual, so we'll let you have a little bit more on the books.
The way it's structured, if you hit your cap, you use it or lose it. You don't earn any more if you don't pay out.
Right.
Some places give the cap, they'll pay out half or something.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't.
That's where I was going, and I didn't explain that very well when I.
I
Thank
knew
you
what
for
you
that.
meant, so yeah. Yeah, there's no payout if you hit the cap. Unless you leave.
Is it possible to separate these two?
What do you mean by separating, Kim? I think you know, but can you clarify?
Vote on the 3 hours,
Oh.
change from 2 to 3, make that one motion, and then another motion on the PTO.
Yes, council always has the option to separate things if you so choose.
Because I think I'm hearing that we don't want to mirror the police union on 400 hours. So it would be, in my opinion, a separate motion.
I would. Agree with that.
If that's how it feels. So I can understand if the police department went through unionized, and this is what they receive, and then non-union are going to receive it also.
So-
it's not maximum 2 hours.
So am I hearing that for the police contact track, they would get 400 hours? Or they would max out at 400?
Say it again, Sharon.
What I feel like I'm hearing is because the police have a contract, that they max out at 400.
Yeah.
And then, you want 2 separates because the rest of the employees max out at 3.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
just a
what you're talking
suggestion,
about?
this is a suggestion, if we're not wanting to mirror what the police union has done. See,
I agree, because I don't want to set precedents on every time they have a contract that the rest of the employees say, well, we've been going by what their contract is. Yeah.
question for you guys. I first, before I ask my question, just want to clarify that I am good either way. Whatever you guys do, I don't really have, I'm bringing both of these forward because the call out came up. But my question to you is how are you determining what gets changed to match the union and what doesn't change? So why the call out and why not the PTO?
Well, the PTO, if I just simply look at how things are now, at hired in 5 years, they would go from 220 up to 400. That's a significant jump. I'm not comfortable with that amount of jump.
The max cap right now is at 340.
Well, that's for the 15-year plus. But if you just take the at hire to 5-year service,
I don't,
am I reading that correctly?
Correct.
Yeah, you see where I am here?
yeah, I see where you're at. I just, could a 1 to 5 year higher person, they could get more than 320, 340 hours if they didn't take anything for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to take nothing, but they.
So a 1 to 5 year employee could accrue.
But the max is 220 right now. So as soon as they hit 220,
They're done.
they would stop accruing until
That's-
they
yeah.
get back below that point.
So that's what I'm saying here. So they're done at the 220. So you've got that, that significant jump. Same thing with the 6 to 10 year, going from 250 up to 400. The same thing with the 11 to 14 year, going from 280 up to 400. Those are significant.
Yeah, I guess I was.
And then when Mike points out about the other additional amount of time for the state,
Sick time.
that's what you're referring to. Yeah,
72 hours or whatever.
yes.
That's what they can use in here, yes.
So if you take the jump up to the 400 plus what the state has just instituted.
That's big financial.
And I think that it's one of those things that it's from the fiduciary responsibility. That's how I'm looking at it. As
I might have missed something. Is the call outs in the police union contract also?
Yes.
I missed it.
and they went from to the $3 as well. And that's why they was asking why one and why, not that you care, why one and not the other.
I just moving forward for myself was kind of curious how you were gauging that. So if something comes up in the future, I kind of know.
That's
I
not
have
only
some
necessarily,
more-
I mean, there's never gonna be even tier because we have two different. It's just the way it is. I'll definitely have heartburn when we talk budget time next year, regarding raises, so we've got 2 years left, 1 year left, set in stone on the PD. And much like Sherry alluded to, it does make it a challenge financially. Say what you're gonna get again. It doesn't, unfortunately, but.
I don't disagree. I just was curious what the thought process was. on
And
this.
in my past experience and scenarios, the only place that I've ever seen that work is when you have, and I'm gonna use the county, when I went through the county, because all the county was unionized, but different entities.
Which could happen here as well.
And we instituted as our dispatch, the Deputies Association negotiated this, and we're like, we want to be 2 clause. If they're getting that, then we automatically get it without negotiating.
Yeah.
And then. But with that being said, trying to. There's only one. union. And so. With this, it looks like the employees are just gonna get whatever. Negotiations, not negotiating.
Or paid union dues.
Or paid union dues.
I didn't understand. I missed it about the 3 hours. So if that is in a union contract, I do not want to send. That makes sense.
I hear what you're saying. So you're saying instead of having 2, just simply have
Just
1.
leave it at 1. As we're talking about this, I would be in favor of passing this motion because it's just mirroring the union agreement of the police department.
call outs would be for our village personnel. Is that correct?
Correct. That would be for the hourly village personnel. So if they are, I'm gonna use DPW as an example because they are the most common. So they go home, they've got their weekend scheduled off. They don't normally come into work and we get a call for a water break. And let's say that people, Nick and Brent respond and they find out that it's just snow melt and there's no water break and they were here for 45 minutes. We, under current policy, would pay them 2 hours even though they came in for 45 because we're saying we took you away from your family. It's your personal time. You had to come into work. So we would pay them minimum 2. If you change it, it'd be minimum 3. Now, let's say they come in and it ends up being a water break and they stay on and they call locates and they're here for 7 hours. They get paid for 7 hours because that's what they work. So it's just setting that minimum time, even if they work less than that, because they're coming back into work.
I personally like the 2 hours like it is right now. And I personally don't really want to increase the max accrual hours. Than what they are.
I agree with that, especially if we're wanting our employees to use the time off that's available so that they don't burn out, then we should not increase the hours that they can pay because that's counterintuitive to what we want.
I agree.
And my understanding of having the tiered 5 years of service is it's an incentive to stay. And it's a reward to those that do stay. Because it's it's unusual. There's always an extra time for learning the position and all of that. And so we don't want to end up training people to go out to other locales. So I understand why we have it. And it makes sense to me. I think that's all I'm going to say.
I feel like our employees have a really big package. But I have an issue with they negotiate.
Regarding the 3 hours, obviously, yes, there's probably fewer fire between that would come in, like you said, for example, DPW, it turns out to be a false call, but generally, if it's snow, it's water free, they're gonna get those 3 hours anyway, right? So again, I don't see a huge cost change in the increase in cost of that because the amount of time that it takes once getting good snow, it does take quite a few hours to get that plowed or water break is obviously more than a 3-hour project. So financially, I don't see it being a huge change. Well, to me, I think much like Danielle, the rest of us alluded to, it is difficult to say what is how we balance even having 2 different groups that work with village and you can't be I don't see a huge increase in the 3 hours. I think that's a fairly the majority of our staff are going to come in for emergency, whether it's water, of course, in the office, but they also get to work in the office, what I mean? So water, sewer, et cetera, DPW, it does happen from time to time. But again, lots of discussion on the table with split motion. We can do no action. We can move on.
My position would be to decide to adopt it.
No.
Not necessarily. So if you're wanting a vote, then you can make a motion and support, and you can make a motion and or support and still vote no. Or it would die with no motion and or support. And then it just, if it dies on the floor, nothing changes.
I'm all for making it easy. If you guys don't want to act, we don't have to act, so. We don't have to move on everything that is on the agenda. That's. Paper. We're okay.
Yeah.
All right, nothing further on that one? Sure, all right, move on. Reports, Danielle, start over to you.
I would answer questions if you've got them, but my report is attached otherwise.
I wanted to make a comment, Danielle. This isn't necessarily, excuse me, on the report that you have stated here, but I did appreciate on the summary this past week regarding the 6 employees that made the switch. I appreciated that knowledge, and I'm happy that you were able to help with self, get the coverage they need, but also to financially help them. So thank you for providing information.
Anyone else? Danielle? Was somebody able to get with consumers on our lights? Or street lights?
I did reach out to Mindy. I've not heard back, but I thought that she maybe was off.
Okay.
I'll follow up with her.
No worries. If you talk to Brent or the guys, the road maintenance has been great so far with the snow. I think again, it's a lot of money, but again, people just seem to not pay attention to that, or just believe that. Yeah, exactly. Take for granted. But again, sidewalks, first heavy snow are done, streets are done, so thanks to those guys.
They concluded with the leaf pickup on any
They did that one additional week because of the short week prior.
Yeah, we did do an additional week because we didn't get completed. I have to clarify a little bit. We did an additional week after the snow and after a lot of leaves were frozen in the ground, so we couldn't back them up like we normally do. So we did take the DPW, took the loader out. They scooped us up as much as they could, but we will have to come back in the spring and do a leaf pickup, which we normally do. Just because with the snow, there's no easy way without pulling in all of the snow and ice as well to pick all of it up.
When it snowed, it was really packed.
Yeah.
The rest of the leaves came
But
down.
they did go around and try to pick up what they could in piles and yes.
They did. It was appreciated. I know in Blissfield Heights. Thank you.
It was in subdivision in Sylvania today. It was like you boys in one of those frozen plaza leaves that haven't been picked up. So it's once again, yeah, these guys keep up with the project. So that's for Danielle. That's something for you. Yeah, okay, we'll move on. We got the police, anything for chief, or chief, anything for council? Report. Oh, I did, that's what it is, Danielle, the CFS, or not CFS, the right meter thing, or the line. We gotta get together and say, hey, what's the plan on this? It sounds to me like Riley doesn't want to open that. Right? Let's get these two engineers to be like, let's.
I forwarded you guys the information. They're waiting, them, Brian and their Eagle engineer, waiting for that information back from the Great Lakes Water something. I'm missing a part of that, but that's the last communication I have. I'll continue to follow up. I know Nora has also been talking to our engineer. I'm not sure exactly the time frame. I think she put it in that, Natalie told us in that email, but I don't know that I recall off the top of my head when that was gonna be.
Keep pushing or pushing. Same with the school.
Yeah.
So go for it.
I almost told you I was going to, hey, just met. Oh, we're the plan next week.
Okay. Anyone else? Chief? No, treasurer? Anything? No? Anything for the treasurer? Nope. Manager's report? No. Wastewater plant? Guys are quiet, ready to get out of here. Okay, committee of the whole. Everybody gonna be here, Parks and Rec discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving Moving on, council discussion, anything further?
Yes, I have something, please. I have it written out, and I want to make sure that I see this as clearly and concisely as possible. As we continue reviewing and updating our village policies, I think that this is a great opportunity for us to put a clear and simple policy in place regarding the take-home vehicles. Just to be clear, this is not about anyone personally. It's simply about having good, consistent guidelines for the village. I really appreciate if we council would take a look at how we handle the take-home vehicles and consider putting, putting a formal policy in place going forward. I say this simply as that. We are updating our village policies. We're just updated some things tonight that we're taking a look at updating them. And I just thought that that would be something that doesn't have to certainly be now. Danielle, perhaps you could provide council with the current policy, and then we could discuss changes that may need to be made if warranted.
Yeah, we do have a vehicle policy now, but it doesn't really address the take home. It talks about, I'd have to look at it again, but I think it talks about like use and things like that. But if you guys want it, I could draft something up, and I would need some feedback from you guys. So I would recommend, if that's something you want to do, that we do it at committee of the whole meeting. I can pull some other communities to see what they do and gather that, and we can kind of go from there, and then we could bring it to a council meeting for consideration.
Yes, and that's your recommendation from the insurance company or two. So yeah, just on the backbone, you've got everything. That's your, okay.
Wonderful.
Second round of public comment. Anybody? Jackie, welcome.
Jackie Bates. I just want to see if anybody saw Laura this morning on the Good Morning on Channel 11 show. She was there talking about the wassail and different stuff, the prayer lights, and it was a nice job. It was a good job. Also, little preface to this. There's a Blissfield veteran who's done 2 tours. He's now out of the military in the Middle East. He needed 5 units of blood this last week. Now we know if you get blood, where's it go? Some of it went to him. Having said that, a reminder, this is a tough time of year, and there is a blood drive Thursday at the Legion. And that's for, it's the Red Cross, not just veterans. So if you're able and have time, you can register or you can do a walk. You might have to wait a little bit, but if you have time, it's really, really important. Thank you, and Merry Christmas, everybody, since there's no more meetings this month, other than the day.
Okay. Jackie, what time is that they can
It
walk
starts
in?
at 11:30. So I should warn you, if you come at 11:30, Art might be there. I'll be there registering. Possibly giving him a ride.
And how late does it go, Jackie?
I think the last appointment is at 4:45.
Nothing like a small town,
Yeah. Tell you what I put on his name tag.
Anything further? No. All right, much like Jackie alluded to, no official meeting for the second meeting of the month for the holidays. Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you for everybody being here. We will meet next week, though, for committee meeting. Anything further? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn at 6:54 p.m.
Support.
Motion Bill, second Eric to adjourn 6:54 p.m. Lisa, call roll.
Sherry,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes. Motion carries. adjourned.